All right, what's up, guys? Today we're actually at a project here in Argyle, Texas, but we're not going to be talking about residential. We're going to be talking about commercial roofing today because we have our commercial estimator here with us. Aaron, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Appreciate you hanging out, man. And also specifically, we're going to just be diving into your knowledge and experience when it goes to commercial estimating, working with GCs, and just some things that I guess people need to know, or some things that they need to look out for.
Absolutely. There's a lot. So I don't know
Yeah,
if we have enough time to cover everything, but we'll go over the main points.
Sure. So I guess before we get into everything of why we should listen to you, but tell me a little bit about your experience, man. How long have you been doing commercial estimating?
I've been doing commercial estimating for a little over 6 years now. Just to give you a little bit of background, I got into roofing when I was 19. Started in the field installing low slope membrane roofing and doing a lot of coatings. Kind of worked my way up into metal standing seam, and then a little bit of shingles here and there as needed. Did that for a little bit, almost about a year, and then moved over into the estimating side of things, where I was trained on the commercial side of how to become a commercial roofing estimator. So anything from shingles, tile, low slope membrane, single plies, two plies, built up roofing, you name it. Anything under the sun, we can bid it. And then from there, I've been doing that for about 6 years. I had the opportunity to become a project manager as well. So I've not only learned the estimating side of things, but also the behind the scenes work as far as what's actually happening in the field. It's very important to note that those guys are what actually keeps this thing going. So there's a whole lot of stuff we could get into about that.
Yeah, makes sense. So in your experience working with GCs, have you seen any mistakes that you've seen them make when it comes to hiring a roofing contractor? They put out these invite to bids and they have these different roofing contractors bidding on these big projects. Like, where have you seen some GCs make mistakes when it comes to working with a roofer?
Absolutely. It really comes down to how informative that the roofer that they're wanting to go with is being with the owner or general contractor. Prime example would be, I was bidding a re-roof job, and they had a lot of water damage inside the building. It was a concrete deck. There was water inside the roofing system itself. So we proposed to them. We not only did a thermal scan of the entire roof to show, hey, these are the areas concerned. This is how much water, and this is how much moisture you have in these areas. It's all got to come up. Well, we ended up losing that bid to a overlay proposal, which at the end of the day did save the owner a lot of money, but at the same time he just threw another roof over an existing roof and trapped all that moisture inside, which now they're going to have mold problems in the future. And that's one example of where communication, and then I guess the knowledge of who you're using in the right way to do things for long-term success, instead of trying to make the quick sale today, get the number as low as possible. We want to do what's right for the building owner, and a lot of times people cut corners and that gets avoided.
Yeah, no, that's a great example. And I guess on the flip side, what mistakes have you seen, maybe some of the past roofing companies you've worked with, or like what mistakes do you see roofing contractors make going into working with GCs on some of these big commercial projects?
A lot of it, in my opinion, that I've seen personally is prep. There's a whole lot that goes into planning and prepping, making sure that you know what's going on with all the details, what kind of warranties you're trying to achieve, and then execution. So planning, prep, and scheduling. If you have the right guys in place who know what they're doing and you can plan it properly, it should run smooth. So it's when you don't have a lot of planning, everything's last minute, that's when you're going to have a lot of problems as the project goes on. And most of the time it's not just one problem. It's one problem that leads to another problem, to another problem, to another problem, that typically could be avoided if you do the right amount of prep in the front end.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I guess also kind of on the same line of that, What do you think some of the biggest pet peeves that GCs have about working with roofing contractors? What are their biggest headaches when it comes to that?
In my experience, this is a question I always like to ask the GC. Hey, what is your biggest pet peeve with your current roofer? Like, what are the problems that they're giving you? And the feedback that I always get is job site etiquette, transparency, and timely execution. Nobody likes somebody that says they're going to be out on site and then that day comes and nobody's there. A phone call could go a long way to say for whatever reason you couldn't make it, whether it's rain delay, whatever. There needs to be some sort of open line of communication to where every day that general contractor or owner is aware of what you're doing and why. The other thing is job site etiquette. Safety is a huge deal for not only us, but also the general contractor or the owner as well. And then job site cleanliness. People, I can't tell you how many times I hear people complaining about other trades. Oh, these electricians are leaving their wire
I see those
everywhere.
memes on social media.
Exactly, right. That, or, just trash in general.
Yeah.
A clean job site is a well-ran job site, in my opinion, and it does, in the long run, it's going to show in the value of what was built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And speaking of transparency, I feel like it could just be easy for us to say, yeah, well, we're transparent and we communicate. Like, what's an example of effective communication of a roofing contractor working with a GC? Like, I'm sure there's so many different examples, but
There is. It's a good question,
I mean,
though. It's hard to narrow it down to one specific answer, but I mean, as far as giving you an example, I had a job that we were running into problems left and right, and it wasn't necessarily our problems. It had to do with the framers, and then the deck, the concrete deck. So, every day we have to do basically what's called a JSA assessment, which is a job site assessment. It's going to tell the GC what we're doing that day, how many guys we got on it, how this is being installed, what the safety procedures are for it, and it's basically a little report. And that is, when it comes to production, that is the best way to keep, every open line of communication. And these are sent via email, and also, your foreman is supposed to do this every day on site and turn in a hard copy as well to the site superintendent. So there's a lot of things in place that a lot of GCs do that I like personally, just to keep that open line of communication. But then there's some that don't. And for the ones that necessarily don't, they're really relying on their sub that they hire to take care of everything.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, I feel like they put a lot of trust in us. So a lot of times I come off as being annoying, but I'm sending them an email, an update pretty much every day. If we have guys going to your property or doing any kind of work, you're getting an email about it. You're going to know how many guys are going out there, and you're going to know what they're doing and why, and then also the safety procedures that are in place.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it comes down to whether it's commercial or residential is, you can talk a big game when you're, estimating that project,
Right.
but when it comes down to production, you have to execute. And a big part of that is communication, not only just re-roofing or putting on a new roof, but you have to be a team and work together throughout the process.
Yeah, communication, and I can't harp on it enough. Planning and
Yeah.
prep. If you have a good game plan going into a certain type of project that could be, let's just say problemsome for others.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
It just goes a long way to where you can avoid all of those problems if you just prep and plan accordingly.
Yeah, 100%. And a huge thing with working on commercial projects and GCs is timeline. So is there anything you can touch on as far as how you keep the timeline going, or
Absolutely, and that kind of just goes right back to open communication. So, I mean, you're going to have schedules, you're going to have deadlines you have to meet. Now, for whatever reason, you can't meet those. You have to know way in advance because your trade is going to hold up others. So, in order to avoid, prolonging any project, you have to be open about what you're capable of accomplishing and how long it's going to take you. And then also, if there's anything that you can even come up with that might affect you, You have to know immediately, and as soon as you know, you gotta let everybody else know so they can revisit the schedule, because it's going to affect it. You'll run into situations all the time where rain delays, or hey, these guys are waiting on permitting from the city, and so you have a certain schedule you're trying to meet. Well, all your schedules just got pushed back, and now you're going to have to try and play catch up if they don't understand about the deadline. So
Yeah.
the sooner you can communicate to someone that there's going to be an issue with the schedule, the better, because it's all about being transparent and proactive. You don't want to be reactive. You want to be proactive. So the more proactive you can be with the schedule and making sure that it's as accurate as possible is the best way to go about it.
Yeah. And switching gears here when it comes to the actual like estimating process, without going into all the details of estimating, what would you say are the most, they're all important, but what are like the most important aspects of that process? And I mean, why is the estimating process so important? I mean, that's why, we're doing some commercial projects, but we hired you, a commercial estimator, to only focus on that. So,
Well, I mean, that's a really good question. The answer is pretty blunt, but I mean, the main job of the estimator is to make sure that your general contractor is covered in their proposal, that we, the roofer, are covered in our proposal, and that we're both going to make money. So, in the long run, we want to build a long-lasting relationship. So, not to go into every step of what I do, but it really is going to come down to the relationship I have with that general contractor, working with them, reviewing the plans, trying to come up with a proposal that's within budget. And then not only that, offer them different ideas that they may not have thought of before, like a VE option. Hey, the owner wants the creme de la creme, if you will, but hey, he can still get the creme de la creme if you do a few different things here, a few different things there, and that might save him X amount. So, it's the knowledge that really helps you be able to kind of navigate through those
yeah.
options.
Yep.
And it also is the relationship that you have with that GC to review plans, have questions, work with them to help sharpen their number as best as possible, to be as most competitive as possible, but also most, what's the word I'd be looking for? Most,
I mean, economical. Probably not the right word, but
no,
competitive is a good word, I'd say.
competitive, but
Accurate, or something that just makes sense.
competitive, but also you don't want to be cheap about it either.
Yeah,
Competitive,
absolutely.
but quality, I
Yeah,
guess.
sure. I mean, you still want to make sure you're checking all the boxes without, I don't know, being the cheapest price, and then what does that lead to? A bunch change orders,
Potentially, yeah.
hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically, nobody likes that.
Yeah,
So it really does come down to having that relationship and being able to have that open conversation with, hey, this is what we have, this is what you have,
yeah,
we're covered, this is a solid number. Because I can tell you right now, I'd rather lose the job at the wrong number than, or sorry, I said that backwards.
lose the job.
I'd rather lose the job
at the right number. Yeah,
and then win it at the wrong number.
yeah, because then nobody's happy, right?
Right, nobody's happy. You're dealing with problems before the project even starts. And so if you can avoid that, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and so touch on warranties for me. I mean, what does a GC need to know when it comes to warranties? I mean, I'm sure the guys watching this have obviously done projects before, but any insight that you can provide?
Well, a big one that I always run into is typically when you're running a finish out project. You have an existing building, it's typically a strip center. There's no RTUs up there, there's no penetrations up there just yet. So they put it out for bid. And what happens is, it's only a 10-year-old roof, it's still under a manufacturer's NDL warranty. So if you have somebody other than the roofing company that installed that roof that holds that NDL warranty, and we go up there and we flash a pipe boot, or we flash a curb, or we flash a scupper, whatever it may be, you have just now voided your warranty with that current roofer. So they are the ones that have first right of refusal. So they are the ones that have to either say, hey, yes, we want to do this work, or hey, give it to somebody else. And they'll send out a rep to make sure everything is still within warranty standards after the repairs or additions have been made. And then your warranty is now up to date.
Yeah, I did not know that. really good to know.
Yeah. And then the other thing is too, you know, a lot of warranties, depending, I mean, there's so many out there. But it really is going to come down to, if you, the higher the warranty that you're requiring, the higher certified or higher managed roofing contractor you're going to want. So like for GAF or Carlisle, Firestone, which is now Elevate, they have certain tiers for their certified installers. One, you have to be a certified installer to achieve an NDL warranty anyways, but they have, you know, platinum. They got, you know, ultra platinum. You know, it just kind of, there's a bunch of levels to it.
Yeah.
That, you know, it really comes down to what you're able to achieve as far as square footage wise, and they do it based off of square footage that you install, and then also how much is under warranty that you have already installed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, I've said it before, but I'm no roofing expert. I'm the video marketing guy, so that's why we have Aaron here.
I just kind of went on a rant there, so I appreciate you sticking with me on that.
No, that's funny. And one thing that we touched on before we recorded this was, you know, oftentimes a GC's knowledge is a mile wide, but a foot deep or whatever. And us as roofing contractors, we're the experts in that narrow field. How important is that for a GC to make sure that they're hiring an expert for their project? Obviously, I feel like it's a rhetorical question.
I mean, it's extremely important. And a lot of times these guys do have a really good understanding of how the roofing system works. Now, it's when you have, you know, a guy that does this every day, all day for the past 30 years, and you get his knowledge on it, well, you're going to understand the ins and outs of what it takes to actually achieve your warranty, where it comes down to your fastening patterns, your ribbon patterns. You know, can this type of membrane achieve this type of warranty? You know, can it be mechanically fastened? Can it be adhered? There's all kinds of questions, and I could go on and on about it. But at the end of the day, it's almost imperative that you have an understanding of what that warranty holds and what it takes to achieve it. Because you could get yourself into a real big pickle, say, hey, you have a new construction project, everything goes great, the roof's not leaking, you know, coping cap exterior's done, you know, interior stuff's getting finished, and then the manufacturer rep comes out and he goes, well, I can't give you a warranty. There's nothing wrong with it right now, but I can't give you a warranty because you didn't meet my standard fastening patterns. And that's already underneath your membrane.
That's a bad day.
That's a bad day. It's a bad day for the GC. It's a bad day for the roofer. And, you know, at the end of the day, the roofer has the obligation to do that,
Absolutely.
what's right, to correct that to where you can achieve it. And the manufacturer will tell you, hey, well, this needs to be done now, which is going to be extra work at the cost of the roofer, typically.
Yep.
So.
And I feel like at the end of the day, that's not only we're obligated to do that in the interest of the building owner, but also we're going to do that regardless to make the GC look good, right?
Absolutely.
Like that's our main goal.
Absolutely. We want them to look good. And not only that, man, I'm a big fan of educating people. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'll be the first to say it. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything under the sun. I don't. But I'll tell you, if I don't know something, I'm going to let you know. Yeah. And I'll probably find out the answer for you. But a lot of times what has, in my experience, helped me build such good relationships with these GCs is going through the process, is going through the plans, going through the details, kind of explaining to them why things are the way they are and why they need to be that way to achieve certain things that is spec'd out. And then sometimes, man, you'll also run into problems where architects design things wrong and what they're showing on the plans will not work, and you will have to come up with a solution for it. So, you know, again, that's just kind of teaching them, walking them through the process of why this won't work and why it has to be done a different way. So I'm a big fan of educating, and I think that helps a lot with, you know, having a good subcontractor to work with. And, you know, it's just going to help better yourself, better your knowledge. I mean, you never stop learning.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, well, I learned a lot in this 20-minute conversation. So
yeah, dude, there's a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, we really did scratch the surface. I tried not to rant as much as I could, but I get excited about it.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely, man. I mean, well, I appreciate you being on the team and playing a vital role in this process. But I guess if you guys have any questions, or even if you have an upcoming project, reach out to us here at Swordsmen Roofing, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you.